Okay, so today's session then is an hour practice for strength in arms, shoulders, core. Also going to do some work in lengthening the front of your legs. And it looks a bit dull and grey, so I'm also going to turn the light on. Okay, marvellous. Here we all are. Let's begin now with a bit of breath work just to centre. So sit up nice and tall. Take your shoulders up to your ears, round and drop them down. Lengthen your spine. Take a nice big in-breath. And as you exhale, release, close your eyes and arrive on the mat. Notice how you're feeling in this moment, in your body and in yourself. See if you can find any areas of tension that you're holding that you don't need to. Let them go. Start to lengthen your breath. If you can, breathe through your nose and breathe in as fully as you can. And exhale completely, still through your nose if possible. Keep going with the long, slow breaths. Take one more breath, as fully as you can, right down into the diaphragm. Exhale, release. And then with your next in-breath, open your eyes, raise your arms, lace your fingers. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, big stretch all the way down. Okay, hands to your knees. Drop your chin down towards your chest. Start to gently sway your head from side to side. And we'll make that a big circle, inhaling up. One more time round. Change the direction. Chin back to chest. Now imagine there's a pencil between your chin and your chest, so you've got to try and hold it there with your chin. Roll your head up, all the way up. Exhale, drop your chin down, let your shoulders be soft, and then tuck your chin right in towards your neck. Inhale, lift up. Keep your chin back, let your shoulders drop. Then gently tilt your head over to one side. Shoulders soft. Inhale, lift up. And over the other way. Inhale, lift it up. Great. Stretch out your arms, spread your fingers, have a wiggle. Before we get into the strength, I want you to be warm and supple. Make fists. Draw circles. Change the direction. Okay, palms up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, hands to your shoulders. Inhale and exhale. One more time. And then open out. Draw circles with your hands. Try and keep your upper arm nice and still. And change the direction. Lovely. Okay, take your hands back to your shoulders. Now draw circles with your elbows. Change the direction. So this is the point where you notice knots underneath or around your shoulder blades because they'll be clunking. Lovely. Hands up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, turn to your left. So I'm going to try and mirror you. I hope that makes sense. Looking over your left shoulder. Inhale up. Exhale, turn to your right. Inhale up. Let's do that again one more time. Scoop up. And over the other way. And back up. Brilliant. Drop your hands down. Alrighty, moving now into hero pose. Now here's the thing with hero pose. If you've got tight thighs, that's going to be uncomfortable. So what you could do is grab cushions, blankets. That's the blanket and that's the cushion, but semantics. If you've got blocks, those are best of all, but if you've got cushions, so you sit astride it like it's a horse. Make yourself comfy. And then you might feel like, I need a little bit more. So you can just build them up. There we go. Lovely. Nice long spine. So once you get comfortable, draw your tail under ever so slightly, lengthen your crown up to the sky. So you've got a nice tall spine. Take your hands behind you. Take hold of your wrists, your elbows, or if you can make the reverse prayer to bring your hands towards each other, do that. As soon as you've done that, you might notice you're arching your lower back. So draw the pelvis down and under. Lift your crown up. So if you work on a keyboard, for example, maybe you do, this is a really nice one to do because it stretches the collarbones, stretches out here. It's the antidote to this kind of thing. That's more like being a pianist, isn't it? Maybe you play the piano. Who knows? Long spine, tail under, crown up. Okay, gently release. We'll take your hands to the floor. And let's turn your hands so that your fingers are towards your knees. At this point, I'd like you to lift off your pillows so that your shoulders are over your wrists. Now, if this is uncomfortable, tuck your toes under, bring your hands inside the knees towards you a bit. So you're not putting so much pressure on. So you lift it up. The further away they are, the stronger the pose, but you do not need to have your wrists any further forward than your shoulders. They're not designed for that. Take a couple of breaths here. And then turn your hands to the sides. Lean to side gently, very gently. Strengthening your hands. So the thing with planks that we'll be doing today and downward dogs is you need strong hands. You need to build your strength. Turn your hands facing forwards. Lean into your left hand and turn your right hand, so the back of the hands on the mat. Straighten the arm. I'd like you to see if you can get your wrists underneath your shoulder and gently even up your weight. But make sure the weight is also on knees and toes, so it's not all on the wrists. What we're doing here is stretching, not straining. If there's any strain or discomfort, it's not the pose for you right now. Let's go with the other hand. So turning it over the other way. Gently does it. This is just a stretch. And come all the way back. Lovely. Sitting down, we'll go on the keyboard. All right. Let's move the cushions. Tuck your toes under. Hands in front of shoulders. Inhale, lift your hips, and exhale, draw your heels to the back of the mat. Now, if your calves and the backs of your legs are tight, your heels will not be touching the mat at this point. That is fine. What I'd like you to do, regardless of where you are, is to bend your right knee and straighten your left leg and bring the heel as far back as it'll go. Stay there. Press your fingertips into the mat. Press the heels of the hands and the knuckles of the hands into the mat. Bring your chest towards your thigh. Now lift onto the toes of both feet. Straighten your right leg. Bring your left knee just that little bit further, but don't take the toes off the mat. Chest to thigh, make your arms long. Let's swap over once more. And both feet to the mat, or as close to the mat as they'll go. Bring your feet together. Raise the right leg. Bring your right foot forwards. We'll take it inside the hands. You can help it forwards if you need to. Rise onto fingertips. Drop your hips. Doing a very low lunge. I'd like you to keep your back knee off the mat. Lengthen through the chest, through the neck, crown up to the ceiling. Inhale, start to lift your hips, lift the toes of your right foot, take your chest back towards your thigh. Now it might be that you've got bent legs, that's fine. Working your way towards straight legs, and then inhale forwards. If this is too much, by the way, just drop the back knee and do the runner's lunge that I often direct you to. It's really a matter of preference. I feel like this one gets me a slightly bigger stretch. And I also prefer to be off my knees when I can. I've overused them. Okay. Drop the back leg. So this is where the fun starts. Now you can bend the knee and drop it onto the floor. I'd like you to start to bring your left heel towards your backside. Get it as close as you can. Then reach behind with your right hand. See if you can get hold of trouser leg or foot. Now very gently begin to bring your heel towards your backside. It's a strong pose, so maybe you might not quite touch your backside yet. Maybe it looks more like this. That's fine. Just be where you are. Now I find a very gentle pulsing feels good. So do what feels good here. Obviously, you'll be feeling this in the left thigh. So this is very lengthening for the front of the legs. Now, we'll let go with the hand and try and keep your leg as close, your heel as close to your backside as possible. And let's drop it down. Good. Lift up your hips into downward dog. Another little tip for lengthening the backs of your legs is if you raise the right foot and separate the big toe from the next toe down like a claw hammer. Roll up my trouser legs so you can see juicy cut on my leg from my allotment. So we're going to separate the toes and bring them behind so they're just separated across the heel And that helps you, it's just that little bit of extra weight, helps you to lengthen the back of your leg. And while you're focusing on the back of your leg, don't forget to press your fingertips and the knuckles of your hands and the heels of your hands into the mat. And then we'll swap over. Left leg up. Separate big toe from the next toe. Over the top of your heel. Now, obviously, if this hurts, if you've got any injury to your Achilles tendon, then this might not feel good. There's no point to it. This is only supposed to feel nice. Okay. Both feet to the mat. Lengthen the front body. Suck your belly button up towards your spine. Squeeze your glutes and tilt your pelvis under just a wee bit. Bring your feet together. Raise the left leg. Bring the foot forwards inside. At which point I can put my legs away. Okay. Juicy lunge. So the knees not on the mat. Lengthen the neck. Crown up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Taking it backwards. Inhale forwards. And so on. And once again, if you want to drop the back knee, if that feels better, you do that. This is your practice. Just for you. No one else. Only you. And me, of course, because I'm here too. Okay. Drop your back knee. Relax the back foot. All right, start to bend the back knee. Squeeze your heel as close towards your backside as you can, and then take hold of the foot if that's doable. And just get into whatever feels good and juicy there. All right. So let go of the hands. Try and keep your foot as close to your backside as you can. And then drop the foot down before your hamstring goes into spasm. Lift your hips. Or maybe that was just me. Into downward dog. Take a moment here. Lovely big stretch. Then with your next in-breath, ripple forwards, high plank. Push the floor away. Suck your belly button up towards your spine. Feet together. Raise your right leg. Take your right knee to tap the elbow and then back. And tap the inside of the elbow and back. Now tap the inside of the left elbow and back. So see, I'm trying to keep my torso nice and still. Keep the leg high, lower down. One straight plank of wood, you can do it all the way down. Both feet on the mat. Elbows tucked in, down to your waist. Press your abdomen into the mat. Lift up, cobra. Squeeze your bum. Squeeze your heels together. Inhale. Exhale. Lower down. Onto your knees. And into your downward dog. Okay, let's do that again. Ripple forwards. High plank. If your feet aren't together, walk them together now. Take the left leg up, pointed toe. So try and keep your torso still. Bring your knee to tap your left elbow. Send it back. Inside the elbow. Send it back. Opposite elbow. Send it back. And then lower down. Squeeze your glutes. Lift up. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale down. Tuck your toes under. Now, your choice, onto your hands and knees or into plank pose. And then make your way to downward facing dog. A little bit of walking on the spot. Stretch the backs of your legs. Big toes to touch. Let's raise the right leg this time. Swing the foot forward outside the right hand. Oh, I've stopped mirroring you, by the way. I forgot to mention that. Drop your left heel, sweep your hands up to the sky. Tail under crown. So for this round, I'm not mirroring you. I'll try and remember the next round. It's all gone wrong. Take your hands to your tail, lace your fingers. It's another really good one for keyboarders. Is that a word? Reach towards the back knee, lift your chin just a bit, press into both feet. Take your chest forwards. Look at the back leg. Knuckles up towards the sky. And bring yourself all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. So you might have to shuffle your foot towards the center. Step back. Let's keep the foot in the air. Notice how I've stopped referring to left and right. Lower down. All the way. Nice and slow. Both feet on the mat. High cobra this time. So your hands stay where they are, but reach your elbows towards your waistline. See how that makes your collarbones lift. And start to press into the mat. Keep touching your waistline with your elbows. Keep squeezing your glutes. Reach your chest forwards and your crown up. And exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes under. Okay, the challenge is straight into plank or go onto your hands and knees. Take a nice big in-breath. Exhale, lift. Let's take it into downward dog. Feet to touch. So for this round, I'm not mirroring you. I'm raising my left leg. Taking it all the way forward. Dropping my right heel. Rise up. Tail under crown, just a wee bit. Take your hands together and reach them towards the back knee. Before we go anywhere, tune into the thigh of the back leg. I'd like you to just really feel a stretch there. If you don't feel a stretch, take your front foot forwards. Keep the outside edge of your back foot plasters onto the mat. Clasp your hands, lift your chin. Then start to take it forwards. Squeeze your hands up towards the sky. Take your hands back towards your tail. Lift up, inhale. Exhale, drop your hands down. Hop the back foot to the center. Take that front foot all the way back. Point your toe. Grace and beauty. Exhale, lower down. Feet relaxed. Elbows towards your waistline. Lift up on the in-breath. Push the floor away. Squeeze your glutes. If this hurts your lower back, make sure you're squeezing your glutes together. Make sure you're reaching your chest forwards. Exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes under. So the challenge is straight to plank or onto your hands and knees and then to downward dog. Bring your feet to touch. Okay, now I'm going to mirror you. So I'll say right and you'll go and I'll go left. So let's raise the left leg. Swing the foot forward inside. Drop the right foot to the right. Bend the back knee. Reach your back heel backwards and swing your arms up. Little bend in the back knee. Tail under crown. Feel that lovely stretch in your thigh. You can make that deeper by bringing your tail even further under your crown. Nice healthy bend in the back knee. Don't like the look of the bent knee? Straighten your leg. You do lose some of the stretch in the front, you get a little bit more in the back. It just depends where you want your stretch. Whew, good stretch. Let's take the hands to the mat. Hop your right foot to the center, swing the left foot back, right into the air, but this time, drop it down. I know you love this one. We're going to do a side plank. I'd like you to take your right foot forwards just a wee bit. And spin onto the outside edge of your left foot. Moving your blanket out of the way if you need to. So this is a supported side plank. keep your hips higher, or you can take a full side plank by stacking your feet. Reach your arms up, look up to your top arm. If you're feeling really sassy, lassie, you might bend the top knee. Oh, I'm not feeling sassy as it turns out. Let's take the hand down. Okay, Chaturanga Dandasana. We're going to hold fallen staff and then lower down so we're not floating through to upward dog. So as you exhale, bend your elbows towards your body, lowering your shoulders level with your elbows. Reach your crown in one direction, your heels in the other. Nice big in-breath. Exhale. Float down to the mat. Take your hands behind you. Lift up slowly. Reach up to the sky. Squeeze your glutes, lengthen your neck. Press the tops of your feet down into the mat. And get that nice core shape going. Now roll or step over your toes. Lift your bum. Downward facing dog. Let's take a moment. Even if you're taking a moment, don't forget the hands. Really press your fingertips down into the mat. Big toes touching, raise your right leg. Bring the foot forwards, just about where the right hand is. Hop your left foot to the left, bend the back knee, swing your hands up. So while you're there, I'm going to say to you that one of the reasons people feel a need to lean on the front thigh as they come up is because all the weight is forward. So if you, before you rise up, you reach your heel backwards, your back heel backwards, take a little bend in the knee, really press into the back foot. You can come up as slowly as you like, and you don't need to lean on your leg. So you adjust your pose, bend your knee or straighten it as much as your body wants right now. What is it like? A big old core shape going. Drop your hands down. Hop your left foot to the center, right foot to join. Okay, supported plank then. Let's take your left foot forwards, hinge onto the, or pivot onto the outside edge of your right foot. Left hand to the sky, lift your hips. And once again, feel free to stack your feet or even bend your knee. Of course, if you're feeling super mad, you're going to hook your big toe with your left hand, but that's just crazy behavior. Why would anybody want to do that? Okay, make your way into high plank. Chaturanga, anybody? Lower down halfway. If you feel like sweeping forwards, do it. Otherwise, lower down. And if you're on the mat, walk your hands back just a little bit and rise up into upward dog. Roll over or tuck your toes under, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Let's make our way to the top of the mat. We're going to do it in stages. So bring your hands to the middle of the mat. It's a little bend to your knees. This is prep for jumping to handstand. Which maybe that's not in your practice now, but if you don't practice at all, you never will be. So I'd like you to claw your fingers into the mat and jump feet to behind the hands. The idea is to jump as soundlessly as possible. Claw your hands, bend your knees, and jump. Then hang in forward fold. Bend your knees, swing your arms. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Marvelous. Bring your big toes to touch. Tail under crown. Take your hands up towards the ceiling and looking up into the heels of your hands. A straight line. Keep squeezing the glutes, belly button to spine. Inhale. Exhale, fold forwards. Bend your knees. And we'll take the right foot back for warrior two. So step it back, drop the heel. Press into the outside edge of the back foot, and that's what stops you from having to lean on your front thigh as you rise up. Let's check the pose. Open your hips, belly button to spine. I'm going to turn sideways. So quite often I see a sort of this sort of thing. So I'm exaggerating, of course. Tail under crown, hip open. So you're trying to, as though you have to fit yourself in into some double glazing or similar. Why would you? I don't know. I don't know why I use that analogy. It's more pleasant than being in a toaster, I think, is the other one I use. Looking over your left hand. Straighten the front leg. Turn your hands towards the long side of the mat. Now, if you're comfortable for triangle pose like this, if you feel like it's a bit wide, just sidle your back foot forwards. Reach to the top of the mat and then tilt into triangle. Look up towards the top hand. Squeeze your right glute round and under. This is another one where the idea is to feel like everything's stacked rather than forward bending. So it doesn't really matter if you can touch the floor. What matters is that you can stretch here. Press into the back foot, come back to triangle prep. Bring your hands to your hips. Pivot on that front foot, toes facing each other. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Just hang here. So it's up to you how you like to pass your time in a wide-angled forward bend. Maybe you like to walk your hands underneath the bridge. Or maybe you like to hold on to the backs of your legs. Or even lace your fingers and stretch out those keyboard shoulders. Who knows? Okay, let's bring your hands back to your tail if your hands are laced. And down to the floor. We're going to take something called Skandasana, which is prep for ninja squat, which we're working to. So turn your toes out and start to lean from side to side, like you are seaweed, going with the wave. So take it as wide as you dare. Nice and slow. Also gives you a lovely stretch in the side waist. And then let's mosey back to the center. Turn your feet back in towards each other. Take your hands to the waist, flatten your back and come up. Inhale. Turn your right foot towards the back of your mat. You might even need to lift your heels slightly. We'll take triangle pose. Reach to the back of the mat and tilt. Reach your left hand up and your right hand down. Open your chest up to the sky. Squeeze your glutes. Maybe you can hear my dog. I've got a little tickly cough coming on. Inhale, come back to triangle prep. Excuse me. Bend your front knee. Warrior two. Looking over the right hand. Press the outside edge of your back foot down. And we'll take the back hand all the way to the back of the mat. And let's step to the back of the mat, forward fold. Bend your knees, flatten your back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Another lovely stretch for the fronts of your legs is actually called back bend, but I personally feel like the emphasis is in the wrong place with this pose because it's really a front stretch to me. So depending on how your body's made, you'll either feel comfiest with your feet parallel or slightly turned out, but don't do mad turned out. So just slightly turned out maybe. And about hip width. Take your hands to your backside. Dig the heels of your hands in. So they're digging right into your bum. Squeeze your elbows towards each other. Lift your ribs and lean in towards your bum. Start to tune into the stretch in the fronts of your legs and feel it in your hip flexors. Your head really is along for the ride. I haven't moved the angle of my chin at all. It's just going with the spine. Looking up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your elbows into each other. Slight softness to the knees, just slight. To come out of pose, again, your head is a passenger, just moving the hips. Take yourself into a forward bend. Bend your knees. We'll take your left foot back. Drop the heel, open out, warrior two. Turn the palm, reach forwards and back. So you can take your top arm up nice and high. Your back arm, it's a choice. You can either hang it there or you can take your hand behind and reach for your inner thigh. And that top arm, if you like, you can bring it over towards your face. But here's the key with this pose. It's not about crunching here, it's about lifting here. So if you're feeling crunchiness, like it's squashed, come back, lift up, make yourself long. So from that high place, reach back. So this is strength building rather than floppy and squashed. Nobody likes a floppy and squashed waist. Come back to warrior two. Bring your hands to your hips. Straighten the front leg. Swizzle. So your toes are facing towards each other. Exhale, fold forwards. Now bring your heels in towards each other, just lightly, so not mad turned out. Now you have a choice. Either continue with Skandasana or see how you go, lowering into the right knee in your case, extending your left leg. So you can pause in ninja squat. Now, if your heel doesn't touch the mat, so your heel's off, that's fine. It can be there. If you've got a block, you can put your heel on a block and just hold there. Over time, you'll be able to lower down. Now, wherever you are, check in with your spine. If you're in Skandasana, your spine's loose and floppy. If you've joined me in ninja squat, your spine is long. Drop your hands. Let's mosey over to the other side. Make your way. Lengthen your spine once more. If you're in Skandasana, keep going. Okay, let's take our hands to the floor, either side of that front foot. Spin round. And we're going to rise up, so lift up, drop the heel, and make your way to warrior two. Huzzah. Turn your top palm, reach forwards and back. And then once again, check in here, reach up, then you can go back as far as you like. You may not go back as far, but that's not really what you're trying to do in this pose. What you're doing is making strength here. And inhale, come all the way back. Bring your back arm round and down. Pivot on the back foot, step forwards, forward fold. Bend your knees and swing all the way up. Bring your hands to your heart. We'll take a moment with dancer pose, which is a lovely standing balance. Maybe come to the center of your mat. Big toes to touch, and it incorporates a quad stretch. So if your big toes are touching, leaning into your left foot, bend the right knee, reaching for the top of the foot. Keep your knees level with each other. Hips square. Take your left arm forwards, palm up. Feel free to take a chin mudra if you like. Now, you can get into this in a myriad of ways. And first of all, some people like to hold outside the foot, and some people like to hold inside, and some people like to hold the toes. I encourage you to experiment and see what works for you. I find they all work. Doesn't seem to make much difference. Just give you a nice stretch here. Okay, losing my balance. Start to take your knee backwards and then hinge forwards. You can do it the other way, hinge forwards and then take the leg backwards, or you can do it a little bit of both at the same time. What's important is that you find what works for you and that you do it mindfully rather than just getting yourself into pose. Try and keep that right hip closed. It will want to open. Come back slowly. Take a big in-breath. Exhale, fold forwards. Make your way to standing. Let's do the same on the other side. Hands to your hips. Big toes to touch. Tail under. Bend your left knee. Grab hold of the foot. Decide where you're holding it. Same as on the other side. Take the right hand forward, palm up. Sorry, got an itch. Post the leg back. So you get the back bend, then hinge into the balance. Then you might find that you can take the balance a little deeper. But just make sure that you're going over. Your hips are closed. Find something to look at that's not moving on the floor. Take yourself back slowly and gently. Control it all the way back. Nice big in-breath. Exhale, fold forwards. All right, so we'll make our way to sitting. Here's where we're going to approach some core work, some dedicated core work. So this is the point where I become a PT instructor. Strong core is really useful for most yoga poses and generally in life. So a bit of dedicated core work. So we're going to do 3 different exercises and 10 reps of each, and we're doing that twice. Let's begin with a nice bit of floating crunch. So you can take your hands behind you. So this bit, you'll really feel the lower part of your abdomen working. So lift up your toes. Take an in-breath. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale away. That's about 2. That's about halfway. Keep going, 1 more. Good. Alrighty, let's roll back down. Make sure you can touch your heels. Take your hands to your thighs. Take a nice big in-breath. And as you exhale, slide your palms up to your knees and inhale. Make sure you're breathing. That's 5. Stay with me. I think that's the last one. Let's do 1 more for the luck. And rest. Good. Okay. So you'll probably have spotted, you felt that in the top of your abs. The next one is for the sides, the obliques. Alrighty, let's arrange your hair. Clasp your hands behind your head. Extend one leg, but not touching the floor. So it's floating. Bring the other knee to your chest. Opposite elbow to knee. 2 taps is 1. It's about halfway. That's about it. And rest. Halfway there. Oh, I can feel it now. I can feel my 6-pack. Okay. Rock up. So you can have your hands there, or you can make it doubly hard by just having your hands by your head. I'll trust that you're doing that. Extend your legs, take an in-breath, exhale. Halfway. Last one. Roll down. Hands to your thighs. We're going to go. Take a big in-breath. Exhale, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and one more. Rest for a minute. Okay. Ready. Clasp your hands behind your head. One knee to your chest. Both feet flexed. The other leg's floating. Elbows wide. Try and keep your elbows wide. That's 5. Keep going. That's it. Oh yes, squeeze your knees. Drop your feet down, and you can just let your legs rock from side to side for a minute. This has the benefit of giving your backside a lovely massage as well. So we're going to move to some stretches now, some lengthening. So hopefully you're nice and warm and supple. We'll have a juicy look at pigeon pose today. So let's rock up onto your hands and knees. So pigeon can always be done on your back, supine pigeon. I'll demo in case you're feeling like you want a gentle one. So like so, holding the hamstring or the shin like that. And if it doesn't feel nice to you to do full pigeon, that is what you'll do. Otherwise, onto your hands and knees. Let's bring the right knee towards the right wrist, and then take your foot in front of the left knee and start to slide your back leg backwards. Down. So some people like to get their ankle right up by the wrist, and if you've got nice long muscles on the sides of your legs and the IT band is nice and relaxed, most people's aren't, then you'll be able to do that. But if you're doing that, please flex the foot like so. Otherwise, you can do your knee a total mischief. I don't actually like that high up. So just checking, if your knee's not happy, you might be better off on your back anyway. But if your knee is just twinging a little, make sure your heel's close to your body. It can be holding the fingers. So straighten up your back foot, so make sure it's not relaxed, not sort of sickling round. Inhale, lengthen the front body. And then start to make your way slowly down. Very gently. Take some big breaths. Now, if you feel for it, you could bend the back knee and again reach for, perhaps you can get a trouser leg, perhaps you can get the foot and bring your backside or your heel towards your backside. It's a really nice stretch for the thigh. If you've got a band or straps, you can wrap that around the foot, or even a long sleeve t-shirt, you can wrap it around the foot. And that's a nice way of stretching the thigh. Okay, let's make our way out slowly. Lean into your right hip, swing your left leg round. Bring it, if you can, to the outside edge of your right thigh. That means that you feel like your left buttock is off the mat, your back's twisted. Bring it inside, see if that's better. If that's not, stretch out the right leg. So find the one that feels best for you for this spinal twist. So if you've got both knees bent as I have and the leg over the other side, make sure your big toes roughly level with your knee. And then sit up tall. So you've got a straight spine. Take your hands up to the ceiling, inhale. Exhale, turn to the left. Drop your left hand down. Take your right arm in front of the knee. It's actually behind the knee, truth be told. Inhale, lift your chest, so you're lifting up. And then turn to look over your left shoulder. Relax that shoulder. You can either keep your right arm straight or you can bend the elbow. If this hurts your back, particularly the lower back, we're better off just hugging the knee towards your chest. Your next out breath, slowly come back round. And we'll take cow pose. I'm going to swivel around. So I'd like you to take your left heel towards your right hip. Now, if the lower leg was straight, that's fine. Doesn't matter where you are with this. Just find your space with it. Find where it works for you. You're aiming towards stacking your knees. Take your right arm in front and your left arm underneath for eagle pose. You start by making a V shape, then bring the right hand in front of the left. Try to match your hands up. If you can match your hands up, maybe turn the right hand so that both thumbs are facing the same way. And then if you've got that, I'm sure you can turn your thumbs towards your face. What's important is that you're not contorting your wrists to try and connect. You don't need to do that. Better off just do that. So lift the elbows, look straight into them. Check in with your shoulders. You can really feel the stretch in the shoulders. Taking the side view. Now, gently release. Take your hands behind you, just like you did earlier, and either wrists, elbows, or reverse prayer. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forwards. Try and keep your backside on the mat. Keep your elbows wide. Inhale, come back up. Lovely. Okay, release your hands. I'm going to lean back. So cross your ankles, roll over onto your knees. And walk backwards to about the middle of the mat for pigeon pose. Once again, if you'd rather be on your back, please do. This time we take the left knee forwards, work it in front of the right leg. Again, take it as high as you want, but remember to flex the foot if your shin is parallel. Walk your right foot back, relax the top of the foot. Get yourself comfy. An important thing to point out, it's better that you have square hips and that your groin is really far away from the mat than it is to lean onto one side so that you're closer to the mat, because what you're trying to do is stretch the ITB and the thigh. And as soon as you lean like that, you're going to get neither stretch. So lengthen through the front of your body again, shoulders down and back. Feel your back foot. See if you can feel it straight. And if it's not straight, straighten it up. And if you can't tell, have a cheeky look. And then lower down, slowly. And breathe. All right, walk your hands towards you. Lean into your left hip. Swing your right leg round. So once again, we're looking to half Lord of the Flies is what we're aiming for. So the foot is either inside or ideally outside the left leg. Or if that's not working, let's see, straighten your left leg out and have your right knee bent like so. Lots of choices. Take your arms up to the ceiling, inhale. Exhale, turn to the right. Take your right hand down, walk it to the center. Relax the shoulder. Take your left arm, so either gently wrap it round or stronger, take the shoulder behind the knee. So then it feels like your shoulder's forward and you're slightly hunched. So if that's the case, lengthen. Don't push into the knee now. You've done all the twisting you need to do with your back. Just lengthen and look over your shoulder. Then you can bend the knee, bend the elbow if you want. Relax your backhand, relax your back shoulder as much as you can. You need to be stable. So if I was to come along, which is unlikely, and move your hand, but modern technology, maybe one day can reach through the screen. So you need to be able to lift your hand and not lose the integrity of your spine. And gently make your way all the way back round. Final pose, well, really penultimate pose. Take your heel towards your left hip for cow head. Line up your knees. Put your left arm on top this time, right underneath. Make your V shape. Hands, right hand in front. Perhaps turn the thumbs the same way and so on. I'd like to lift your elbows so you're looking directly, so your neck is straight and you're looking right into your elbows. Don't need to lift your chin at all. Slowly release. Take your hands behind you. Reach wrists, elbows, or reverse prayer. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold gently. Inhale, back up. Okay, so lean back, untangle your legs, bring your toes to the top of the mat, reach forwards and roll back slowly. Slide your legs out, bring your hands by your sides. Take a nice big breath and release. If your low back feels like it's really far off the mat, there's a couple of things you can do. I always like to try and adjust before I give up. So an adjustment might be bring your knees to your chest, squeeze them in, lift your tail, and take one leg at a time. So that's one adjustment. Sometimes that's enough. Another one might be bend your knees. I'll keep my hands out of the way so you can see. Lift your tail, tilt your pelvis up, and then lower down. And try that. And if still no success, bend your knees and let your feet be the width of the mat. And let your knees support each other. So do whatever works to feel like your back is relaxed. Take 3 breaths. Nice long, slow in breath. Exhale, release. Do that a couple more times. Notice the effects of your practice today. Perhaps you have an affirmation you like to use. You could call that to mind. Or you might say to yourself, I'm looking forward to the rest of my day. And then take a big stretch. And maybe rock up to sitting. Sit for a moment. Hands to your heart or in prayer. Close your eyes for just a second and take a moment of gratitude for something, anything at all. May all beings be happy and free. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today on this YouTube. And I'll hope to see you very soon. Ta-ta.